I think it's high. I think that we have a lot of talented people. I think we have, some Hall of Famers in here and some perennial All-Stars. And now I think that it's just us coming together, finding our identity as an offense, and, showing up with intent every day to win each game. And I think step one for this group is to win the games that we're supposed to win. That's what good teams do.
That's what good teams do. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Marty Time TV. I am Marty Caswell. That is Darren Smith. We are brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. Darren has a fancy jersey on. I have a boring tank top on. But hey, Darren, good to see you again.
Is it boring? I don't know, Marty. We can't see it. Is it boring?
It's boring. I feel like I wore this in the last show, and I'm sure people always pay attention. It's not what we say. It's like what we're eating, what's behind us, what we're wearing. And I feel like I wore this on the last show. So I think I need to vamp up my wardrobe. Maybe when the Padres launch their new City Connects, it'll give me inspiration for a new color scheme. But we'll see. We'll see.
Okay. Well, I mean, maybe this is also making the argument that people could listen to this via podcast, and then that way they really wouldn't care what you were wearing. It is up to their imagination.
No.
What you're wearing, what I'm wearing, what anybody else is wearing. So we could just leave it up to the listener, and then that way it's not really a concern. The only thing they would judge us on is our content and our Wi-Fi.
Okay. Well, the Wi-Fi is terrible. Hopefully the content is better. The content is always better after a win, right? Padres, after what I termed a dismal homestand, right? Lost back-to-back series, gave their fans nothing to cheer for, no slug. The pitching was a disaster. And listen, 4-2 on the road, you'll take it every single time, even it comes against terrible teams like the Boston Red Sox. Pirates are going to be an up-and-coming team. I know they had Paul Skeens, their superstar, Connor Griffin, whom the Padres saw a little bit of, and now they are back at Petco Park to welcome smoking red-hot Colorado Rockies, who just swept the Houston Astros in over 500 now for the first time in over a year. Go figure.
I am not ready, Marty, to say that the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to be a terrible team. Now, I probably will agree with that statement before too long because it's the Pirates. But you just said it. They got to see Paul Skeens. That starter who went in that first game is really good. Connor Griffin just signed. I don't know how many people noticed this in San Diego, but this was the top prospect that you and I talked about, I think, on Friar Territory recently. But he signed an extension just days into his big league career for 9 years and $140 million. Does that sound familiar? Because it should if you're a Padre fan, because that's the exact deal pretty much that Jackson Merrill signed when he signed for 9 years and $135 million right before opening day last year. So that was just about a year ago. So I have to think that this, for as much criticism as there might have been about Jackson Merrill, who did have a season under his belt, who was second in the Rookie of the Year, that stood out to me, right? That maybe this was a little bit of a template. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not convinced that the Pirates are going to be competing for a wild card. This is a long-winded way of me saying I think that the Padres should feel pretty good about taking 2 or 3 against the Pirates. Obviously, winning on the road is difficult. Winning in Fenway on their opening weekend is a little bit of an extra challenge. I don't care how bad that team is. They had the worst record in baseball to start the week, but I just suspect that Pirates team, we're used to saying that they're trash. I'm not so sure that they are trash. They might be better smelling trash, but I think that it's actually, they have the makings of a pretty good team moving forward. So I actually think the Padres can return home, not just thinking, okay, well, we handled our business and we beat the teams that we're supposed to beat. And again, I don't mean to turn this into a referendum about the Pirates, but as I watched them, I thought, they've got some pretty good players there. They have some interesting pieces. How long they'll keep it together is anybody's guess.
That's the key.
Yeah, I think you should feel pretty good about returning home 6-6 and 4-2 on the road trip is what I'm trying to say.
I would agree. And to your point, Darren, they did that without huge contributions from their stars. Manny Machado got a rare day off. I'm sure he was secretly happy because it's freezing cold and he wore a giant hoodie underneath, a sweatshirt underneath his jersey. But they're back in San Diego this weekend, 4 with the Rockies, and then off day Monday, then 3 with Seattle Mariners. So that'll be interesting. I do want to mention that I have Jake Giriani of CBS 8 coming up a little bit later in this show, Darren. We'll talk some Padres. I think CBS will be airing their first Padres game this Saturday. So perhaps we'll have, So for those of you who have cable, yes, that's right. Cable, you can watch Jake do his thing, the pregame show on CBS, and you can watch the Padres and the Rockies on Saturday. Yeah. So
I did not realize any of this. Now, of course, I will be in the broadcast booth for SDFC on Saturday against Minnesota United. Can I just throw a couple of quickies out there?
Sure.
Just before we move on and before we bring in the very handsome Jake. Number one would be, you mentioned that Manny Machado had the day off, right? Yes. And this was something that we were tipped off on and something that was said by Craig Stammen, the manager. How do you think they arrived at the decision that today was the day that we're going to give Manny the day off? I mean, I'm not objecting to it, and I want to make that very clear. And of course, they won the game. They won the game 8-2, right? Was the final score?
Yeah.
Game number 3. They stole 6 bases, by the way, in this game.
Incredible.
Just one more than they had the entire season up into this point through the first 11 games. How do you think they arrived at the decision today? Like, do you think that there was any actual reason, or do you think it was just like, whatever, let's just give Manny the day off? Do you think there was anything that happened over the last couple of days, the last day, the quality of the at-bats? I'm truly curious if you're going to give him days off. And I think everybody would say, like, we understand Manny's all about posting.
Right.
But I just do wonder, like, what is the thought process here? Like, how do they arrive at the decision that today or whatever the next day is going to be, that those
day game, day game after a night game, and it's miserable, brittle, cold. Maybe it was the outfit begging. This outfit screams, give me an off day.
This guy's wearing a hoodie under his jersey. We've got to give him a day off. He's crying out for help here. I feel like that's
I wonder
science. I do wonder if there is any actual science to it, though.
So of the regulars, who hasn't gotten a day off? Merrill's gone a day off.
Not.
Tatis,
it looks like
you could argue he might need a day off.
So why not have a 12th different lineup in the 12th game coming up on Thursday against the Colorado Rockies?
It's going to be a record. The Padres are never going to have the same lineup, and I hope so. Trot it out to Manny and say it's by design. So why not?
Yeah.
By the way,
again, I don't want to overthink it. I'm just kind of curious. Was it random? Did Craig Stammen wake up today? Was he like, I think I'm going to give Manny the day off? Or I would imagine you probably tell a player like that the previous day so he doesn't arrive in the clubhouse.
Yeah.
And then it's like total day off, not just day off, get you off your feet. You can DH, like total day off. I'm just curious about these kind of things, not because I'm second guessing it, just because I'm kind of a loser and I'm curious about such things. So that's all. That's number one.
That'll be the line of questioning for Craig Stammen after we ask him about the City Connects on Thursday.
Cool. And then number 2 for me would be that Mason Miller. Now, I thought it was very generous of Kyle Hart to give up a couple of runs late in this game so that maybe Mason Miller could get a save opportunity.
He was getting in no matter what. I was almost thinking
maybe he grew up, Marty. I don't know if you knew this, but he grew up close to Pittsburgh. I don't know if you heard this over the weekend or not, or over the last 3 days.
I did hear it. I did see the graphics. I did see it all tweeted out there. So I do realize that Mason Miller is in fact from, was it Bethel High School or something like that? 10 years ago, he graduated. So
and a cool story.
So I'm glad he got in. I mean, I was thinking maybe they could just bring him. It was a blowout. Maybe they could bring him in for just, one batter.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool story, by the way. AJ Caswell has a really cool story on MLB.com about, him growing up and some of the health things that he's dealt with in his life, and, the impact of pitching there with even the Pirates, I think, have some sponsorship that's connected to the medical care that Mason Miller got when he was a kid. But, I've understood. I've never met Mason Miller, so I don't want to be speaking out of tune here or out of turn here. But like, I understand Mason Miller to be a guy that doesn't really, like, he's just very kind of go with the flow, but in a very genuine way. Yeah. And I don't think it would have really bothered Mason Miller that he didn't get this opportunity. But in an 8-2 game, that's 100% on your manager. And he decides, I'm going to do a solid for this guy. I'm going to let him pitch in front of friends and family. And it's probably a pretty cool thing. Now, I don't know how many points that earns you if you're the manager of the team, but you didn't have to do it.
Right.
And of course, Mason Miller now is continuing the streak where he is closing in, Marty, on a Padres record. He is closing in on a Padres record. I'm sure you know who owns the record for most consecutive innings without allowing a run. I'm sure you know that off the top of your head because you were covering the Padres back in 2006.
Okay, would have to be Trevor Hoffman then.
That is not accurate.
Not
Do you
correct.
remember?
06, Peavy.
No. I gave you a hint.
Question. I should know this. Okay, go
ahead. That
ahead.
is a trick question, yeah. Mason Miller now has 26 2/3 innings pitched without allowing a run since he first arrived in San Diego. The record is 33 2/3 innings 2006. Now, again, I'm totally stealing this information from the people that have reported, but it was Clay Meredith.
Oh, real? The Claw.
Yeah.
Wow. The
Yeah.
Claw. That's
The Claw.
Fascinating. Okay. Decent
Is it?
company. The Claw. Not really.
Hey, Clay Meredith was a popular player in 2006.
was.
I don't, you know, some of you younger people, you don't know what that was like back then.
The Claw.
Like, he was really popular.
He was very
Yeah.
popular. Very popular.
Anyhow, I just
right.
think that was interesting because, again, I highly suspect, just basing on what I've heard about Mason Miller from you and from other people that have covered him, from people that work the team, like, he's not that guy. He's not like, yo, man, you've got to get me in here.
Awesome.
Like, this is really important. He's like, hey, listen, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't make sense, don't worry about it, Skip. And he still did it anyway.
He is so super chill. He is so super chill. So when you see him out there and he's blazing 103 in front of 9,000 people instead of 40,000 people, he's a different monster once he gets out there. It's awesome to see. All right, Darren, I know I have a couple of things going on. I do want to get to Jake Giriani. He has a very, very busy schedule, but I do want to ask you a couple of things. You're a big golf guy. You always have been. How into the Masters are you this year?
Well, after Rory won it last year and completed the Grand Slam, just becoming the 6th person on planet Earth ever to do it, probably not as emotionally invested because I root for Rory. I will be rooting for Rory this weekend. It is not the same as it was a year ago, where Rory is trying to complete the career Grand Slam after 10 years of coming up short. So, but I'm much like Rory. I can now watch this and just enjoy it without being emotionally invested in it.
Okay.
So I also am looking forward. I want to read the book that Alan Shipnuck wrote about Rory McIlroy. So excited about that. But I don't know, Marty, that I'm going to be setting an alarm and getting up first thing in the morning and watching this. But, you know, I'll be paying attention to it. And I doubt seriously that it'll carry, like I said, the emotional attachment that it has in previous years. But yeah, I mean, of course, it's the Masters. So I'll be watching it. It's great television.
Yeah, maybe you can catch up with Steve Sands on this platform or a different platform when the Masters are over. And I know this is going to be. I'm interested in how the networks will cover this story. It's more of like a TMZ story headline. That's going to be Tiger Woods. Has your opinion of Tiger? What a story! Has your opinion of Tiger just changed forever? I don't think he's ever going to golf again. I could be wrong competitively, but how much of how things have unfolded have changed your opinion of him
as a human?
Yeah.
Probably not that much. You know, I think that everybody understood that he was an incredibly flawed human being.
Yeah.
You know, that came out in a very public way, that he was way more flawed than anybody the public could realize. I think maybe there was some who understood that he was pretty complex, but I think I don't feel any different about him as a human being. You know, these are self-inflicted things. I think for a while, the addiction to Tiger Woods, and I don't mean that to be, cheap and all that, but you know, I think there was a lot of us that just like watching Tiger Woods play golf, and we believe that if he can give us and deliver one more big moment. Yeah. And he did that in 2019, right? He won the Masters. You're like, wow, everybody wrote this guy off, said it was never going to happen. And then it happened. But in terms of him as a human being, I mean, he's incredibly flawed. And I just wonder if there's anybody who, who can connect with him and try to set his life straight. I don't suspect that there's a ton of sympathy out there for him in the universe.
I think that's a good word. But I think sympathy, lack of sympathy is I think people might feel different about the enigma that's been Tiger Woods. And just how he dealt with. He was fascinating. I think even like watching that video of him in the back of the sheriff's car was uncomfortable, really uncomfortable, the way he was sweating. So I don't know. I mean, I've sort of abandoned any hope whatsoever that he's ever going to return and have one last run in him as a golfer in a professional setting, even though a lot of people gave up on him before the 2019 Masters. But, now this to me is like, there's been a lot of people that have been saying a lot of things about Tiger Woods for a long time. And it feels like the chickens have come home to roost now. Yep. Completely agree.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. SDFC back home versus Minnesota on Saturday, correct? Isn't it it's going to rain?
That is
rain
correct.
Forecast?
Yeah. It's supposed to be like really bad rain too.
Really?
Yeah. I think. I don't know. Last I checked, I always feel like the rain, like the weather predictions are usually way worse on Tuesday than Saturday. It's like, oh, actually, this isn't so bad, is it?
No,
it'd be nice to get back to the winning ways. It was really disappointing on Saturday night, and getting another player sent off with a red card in the 32nd minute, and now that player is going to be suspended on Saturday night. So SDFC is putting itself behind the 8 ball a little bit here. It would be nice. They're a little bit wobbly. It would be nice to stabilize. And Minnesota United is a team that SDFC saw in the playoffs last year in the Western Conference semifinal. Western Conference semifinal.
I was there. So, that's Snapdragon, correct?
Yeah, totally different team, new coach. They got the great goalkeepers off and playing with Messi now in Miami. But maybe we're going to see a Colombian superstar make his debut for Minnesota United. But yeah, I mean, SDFC's taking a couple of shots on the chin here, so it would be nice to see them stabilize themselves at home in front of what hopefully will be a very energetic crowd Saturday, 7:00 pregame, 7:30 kickoff. You can check the social medias for where to listen to it.
That should be fun. Okay, hang on. I'm putting up real quick the QR code for section 1904. Oh, wait, you sent me a new one, and I'm sorry, I did not put the new one up there, Darren, a fancy QR code. But people want to go ahead and get this content in the podcast form, written form. You do a great job of write-ups of conversations that you have with different insiders and whatnot. You can scan this, Darren. This particular show will be available at section 1904 on your Substack. So I want to make sure people can see that. One more, I want to move out, Friar Territory, and I'll announce what we have coming up there later on as well. Who do we have previously? I can't remember, but we have tons of great Padres content available on Friar Territory. I thought Heath Bell had some really interesting things to say last week about Craig Stammen giving up control, Darren, and handing over the lineup to Randy Knorr, his bench coach, which I don't know. We'll see how this thing goes. But again, Craig Stammen is determined to never use the same lineup.
I love it.
The rest of the season. Yeah.
It's a good bit.
Yeah, it's great.
You keep doing it.
On purpose. No doubt.
Yeah. I mean, why not? I mean, it's gotten you back to 6-6. So why not give it a shot there? So yeah, I'm with you on that one as well. So then the Colorado Rockies, and you mentioned City Connect, right? Make their debut. Yep. Or at least they're going to release them on Thursday on Manny Machado.
Thursday morning at 8:00. Yes. And then they play
8:00 in the morning.
8:00 in the morning, yes, and then Friday they will play in them for the first time against the Rockies. It took a while for the original City Connects, the mint to grow on me, and I love them. I absolutely love them. So I'm not sure if I like these yet based on what I've seen, the color scheme, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, it seems like there's a theme, like the Dia de los Muertos theme to them with the jersey patch. At least that much the Padres have put out there for public consumption. So we know that there's a theme to it, which we'll see how the unveiling goes on Thursday for what comes with that. I don't think that's just a patch. It feels very much like it's a theme. And I remember picking up on some of the themes from their first City Connect release with some of what it was that they were leaking out there. So yeah, I do. I mean, Dia de los Muertos, I mean, I've been in Mexico for that day. It's a really, really special day. And how they unveil these, I think will be very interesting to see if it's part of the theme of the jerseys themselves, not just the patch that's appearing on the sleeves that we know. Well, we don't know, but it's widely believed that the patch is going to be on the sleeve, but we know it's also part of the theme for the new City Connect jerseys because the Padre commercials have indicated as much, with the makeup and such. So yeah, it's a really big, I'm kind of curious to see how they do it. I think they're pretty good at this sort of stuff. So I suspect it'll probably be not for everybody, but I suspect it'll be really well done per usual with the Padres because I think they're really good at that kind of thing.
They are. It'll be a hot item, and I'm sure the gift shop will be out of control tomorrow. So if you want a piece of this merchandise, get there early, especially if you're going to the game. All right, Darren, my last question to you, and I wasn't even going to go there. I wasn't going to touch this before I welcome in Jake Giriani of CBS 8. But how many times have you been in a hot tub with a source? Are you counting?
I can't answer that question.
Okay.
I think the better question, Marty, would be how many times have you been in a hot tub with the source?
Countless times. Countless.
Yeah, Darren. Of course. Listen, you gotta get the scoop.
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
I mean, listen.
Sorry, we don't have time for more.
Is this Marty Time TV or is this those in glass houses?
TV, baby. Never been in a hot tub with a source.
I've
been invited to appear in a hot tub with a source, but
tell us that story.
No, I don't want to. That'll be in my book. You know who it was?
Oh, I do.
I know you know who it was.
I mean, I do, and that's why Marty and I could.
Hey. Did not go. Did not go. Didn't even respond. Time to go. Jake Giriani is here, Darren. Time for you to bounce, my friend. Bye. Okay, welcome back to Marty Time TV. I'm Marty Caswell. That, of course, is Jake Giriani of CBS. We're brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. All right, I feel like the worst person in the world. All right, Jake was like a weekly, twice a week, all of last year, and I have not talked to Jake. I saw him in spring training at Manny Machado's locker. We'll get there next. I see him at Petco Park, but he has not been on my show in a very long time, and that's absolutely my fault. So I'm so happy, Jake, that you have forgiven me and you're back here in Marty Time TV.
I got a lot of bad takes. So you got to spread those out. You got to break them up. No, I'm not offended whatsoever. It's a busy life we both lead, and it's been great to catch up with you. We see each other a lot. We do.
Mm-hmm. I bump into you. I hit you with my mini tripod in the press rooms and all that, and in post game stuff. So hey, listen, Padres are back to 500. They're back at 6-6 after what I think was a very good road trip. The goal on a road trip usually is to go 500. They went 4-2. What have you learned about the Padres after their first homestand and after their first road trip?
I think we've learned that baseball has its ups and downs, and you saw that in this period of to understand why everyone was kind of freaking out early in the season after those first two series at home, and it didn't look all that pretty. And then you go on the road and it looks a lot better. And there are still things that it's worth to be concerned about, but I think at the end of the day, like this 6-game 500 start is just kind of a microcosm for what the 162 game season is. And I don't mean that in the sense I think the Padres are going to go 500. I just mean you will have those moments where it feels like this is one of the worst teams, and you'll have those moments where it feels like it's a great team. There was heavy concern with the offense to start here. I fully understand that. You've also faced guys like Tarek Skubal, Framber Valdez, Mitch Keller, Paul Skeens. So I think when you look at the sample size that we have, the 12 games, the 6-6, I think you go, yeah, there's some good things, there's some bad things, and that's kind of baseball in a nutshell. It's up and down. And overall, I feel like this team will be in an okay place when you continue to go down the line. I liked a lot of what I've seen from Craig Stammen, which I know is a hot topic. I think a lot of people feel the other way about it, but I felt pretty good about that. And I think we've seen some great things, Marty, in a sense of like Michael King and Nick Pivetta looking sharper, and just a lot of moments where like Castellanos starting to do some stuff. Some of these things that we talked about in the offseason coming to fruition. Is there concern with guys like Fernando Tatis Jr. early in the year? Yeah, sure, maybe. So I think you see a lot of pros and a lot of cons in a 6 or a 12 game sample size.
I like what you had to say, and it's so funny that you mentioned the Craig Stammen, the concern, and I know people didn't like his candor at the end of the presser where he mentioned that he's too tired. Listen, Craig Stammen is not too tired to go ahead and fill out a lineup or figure out the matchups, and the fact that he is saying, Randy Nora, go for it, go ahead and do your thing. That's called delegating. And I was thinking about the response when people were being critical. I actually had a conversation with Heath Bell in Fire Territory, right? Because Heath's like, you don't like it, it should come from the manager. Think about how many head coaches call their own plays. They don't. They have coordinators, right? They have offensive coordinators for a reason. They have defensive coordinators for a reason. So if you're Craig Stammen, man, first guy in the job, you have enough to go ahead and learn. If you have someone that can take on that responsibility, go for it. So I think it's too soon to give a report card on Craig Stammen as to whether or not he's the right guy.
I 100% agree, especially in a sense of like, first of all, being the manager of an MLB franchise, like you better be great at delegating. You cannot do it all yourself. And if you do, you're going to sink that franchise. If you try and be in control of everything, it's not great for the franchise. Now we'll see what everything is for Craig moving forward, but I love the fact that he's willing to adapt right away, that he is straightforward. He's honest. When's the last time we had a manager say like, yeah, I didn't like the way he threw the ball today, or I didn't think he had that great stuff, where like it felt like in years past, we've kind of had that straight, I can defend my guys to the end kind of stuff. Well, I don't know. I just think the Craig Stammen heat has been too soon, too early.
Okay, Bob Melvin. I think Bob Melvin I know his tenure in San Diego was very, very short, but he was brutally honest. You're like, whoa, okay. And then maybe some players didn't like it, but I think most of us appreciated his candor. So, yeah. So all good. Sorry.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're good. Yeah, I've enjoyed what I've seen out of Craig. I know a lot of people want to say certain things about him, but I think that obviously, like most of this year, you got to give it a bigger sample size than 12 games. But I think they've calmed some people down with this road trip, and then you get to come back home. You get to face the Rockies, who are an improved team. That's easily said because they were one of the worst teams in the history of baseball. But you got a chance to kind of get things rolling, and it feels like you get a guy like. Again, you want to talk about being impressed, like Randy Vasquez going to be back to start that homestand. And it's like you continue to roll with that. So I think they'll get some things going here in a good direction.
I really hope so. Yes. Give the Petco fans something to cheer about, because that last homestand, it kind of stunk. I mean, there wasn't much energy in the building, and the Padre fans were just dying to explode and cheer and have a good old time. And they're launching the City Connects on Friday, Manny Silver Slugger bobblehead on Thursday. Every game is going to be sold out. Was it 4 with the Rockies? Yeah, 4 with the Rockies, day off Monday, and then 3 with the Mariners. But man, give the Padres fans a winning homestand. You mentioned the contributions from Nick Castellanos, right, and Miguel Andujar, and who else? I'm just thinking about last year, the position the Padres were in last year, where they didn't know who the answer was in left field, right? And so you're thinking about, all of AJ Preller's small signings from last season, whether it was Jason Hayward and Yuli Gurriel and Connor Joe, and there really was no contribution from those guys. Some of these smaller signings the Padres have had, they paid off on this road trip. They came through.
I think it's really important to remember too, not only did they pay off, but some of the contributions these guys have had, Marty, and for the price that AJ Preller was willing to get it done at. Like, he came into this year with obvious financial constraint. And you look at a guy like Ryan O'Hearn, who we just saw in Pittsburgh, who got, what was it, 2-year, $20-something million deal. Could the Padres have gotten him in for $229 or whatever he is? Or you could try and replace some of that with 3 guys that are essentially nothing to you when it comes to financial. So you got 3 people in there when you talk about Ty France, who I know hasn't done anything yet, but we'll see.
Right.
And you got Andujar, and then you get Castellanos for a league minimum. I think with the constraints AJ was working with financially, to be able to get these 3 in and already see some of an impact. And I don't know how it's going to look over 162, but at least see it early is a little bit refreshing. Even a guy like Ramon Marquez, who had a good start against Pittsburgh, like, to be able to get some of these things while we wait on other pieces, or while we've needed to add some slug from a year ago, it's definitely been a positive for the Padres.
You mentioned Ty France. I wonder how much longer he'll be with the Padres. I know there's a bunch of Padres who are in rehab assignments, including Sung Moon Song, who I think is going to fill that role. He can play all the defensive positions. But he's going to have a little bit of pop. So I'm not sure how long they'll have Ty France. Maybe he'll get a chance to go ahead and play against his former team, the Seattle Mariners. By the way, Luis Campusano caught Michael King. That's the new personal catcher. He's got a couple hits, RBI. Good for him. He's going to get some playing time. AJ Preller and his manager, Craig Stammer, are going to make sure that they get every single ounce they can from this dude before they make a decision one way or the other. Right?
Yeah, they kind of have to. Good for Campy. He had a big hit in that series finale against Pittsburgh. He had that other one that was like the first one since the Biden administration or whatever. He has definitely been improved.
What?
I think that's right? That's a genuine thing. He's definitely been improved defensively behind the plate, which I know is huge. Obviously catching Michael better. He's like an ABS wizard, by the way.
ABS machine, baby.
Austin Hedges of framing is the ABS of Campusano. That's how I like to compare him. So hey, good for Louis. I mean, it's not like anybody's rooting against him. We'll take every ounce you can get out of him, right?
Yeah. I love it. You can feel the relief. Like, I wonder how many pounds of anxiety he shedded after getting that first hit. Because how are you not thinking about it? How are you not thinking about the over the 11 all the strikeouts from last season and just like, God, someone give me a chance, or else just get me out of here. Either give me a chance or ship me somewhere else, or somebody El Paso. Just, I can't rot away on the bench, which is what happened last season. So.
And good for, I get good for or not, depending on how you want to look at it, Marty, but how about Craig and the staff, and obviously AJ probably being in on this one too, try and empower Campy. Like, I don't know how the whole year is going to go with him, but to be like, don't worry, you're the number 2 guy. You're going to get some ABs. Even if you struggle early, don't worry about it. Sometimes that's what a player needs. Now, I don't think the guy's going to go hit 290 with 78 RBIs, but
probably not.
Sometimes being empowered helps out, and maybe that's why you see a couple of big knocks from him.
A good little tandem back there. Now, it's kind of funny that you and we've gone almost 10 minutes in this conversation, and we haven't really spoken about Fernando Tatis Jr. or Manny Machado. Manny got that first off day, which I'm curious, and we'll talk to him tomorrow, how much he argued against that move because he wants to post. But then again, maybe if you're Manny Machado and you know where you are in this career, and the fact that you had to wear a hoodie underneath your jersey yesterday and you're freezing in Pittsburgh, maybe you secretly are welcoming this. Get back to San Diego where it's 70 degrees and just go ahead and post when you get back to Petco Park.
I thought the hoodie was kind of a cool look. I'm not going to lie.
You like
I was
the look?
here for it. I like the look a little bit. I think there's been articles written about this. There's been plenty of conversations had about this. Obviously, Manny is the king of wanting to post. The team wants to take care of a guy they got locked up for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, if you need a day off, you got to sit. And even more importantly, if your team can put up 8 runs or you can go win those days when you're sitting, that's great. And then just real quick to touch on the Fernando Tatis Jr. thing, I'm the king of saying it's early. I'm the king of patience, but he looks lost at the plate again this year, like he just going to go. And it definitely gives me some pause at the beginning of this year, because you've been in the locker in the clubhouse with me a bunch, Marty, where he said over and over, I feel great. Mentally, I'm in a great spot. We watched him play very well at the WBC, albeit not great against the Americans, who had a bunch of really good pitching. And then maybe a lot of the other guys he faced were, low A-ball guys or electricians for the guy for the Czech Republic or whatever. But so there is concern, I think, early for Fernando Tatis Jr. Of course, again, I'll be patient with it, but I don't know. He looks lost again to me.
I'm not sure what you do with him. And if you're Fernando, and I know he speaks with his dad every single day, Fernando Tatis Sr., maybe you're back on the phone with him. Maybe you have to, maybe he needs an off day, a full off day to clear his head. It's just remarkable that we're back in the same conversation again. Yeah. By the way, people keep bringing up the whole thing. Hey, he's not playing with that joy in WBC. You can't replicate the atmosphere you had in the WBC, where you're with your countrymen and you have all your fans cheering for you. And every single game has a magnitude of like a game 6 or game 7 in the playoffs. It's just a little bit different. So you're not going to manufacture fake energy. Either it's genuine or it's not. And there is a maturity factor. He's not going to be dancing or back flipping after a single. It's just you don't do that at this stage in early April. So hopefully it comes when he starts to produce. I just wonder, I know he says I'll hit anywhere, but if you're Tatis, is there a spot you actually just put me there, leave me there? That's my role.
I don't know. I think it's important. Like if you're getting that caught up in where you're hitting in the lineup, so much so that it's affecting your at bats like immensely, then that's probably more of an indictment on your approach towards your at bats than it really is the construction of the lineup. I've heard AJ Caswell say this. I agree with it a lot. Like the 1 through 9 hitters in your lineup are a lot more important than where they're hitting in that lineup.
Yes.
And so I think like if Toddy's getting way caught up on where he's hitting in the lineup, again, I think that's more like you better fix your mental toughness with bats than it is, oh gosh, if you were hitting in that 3 spot, you'd be hitting 360. Like that, that to me is a little bit different there. One thing I've always said about Fernando when it comes to the energy stuff too, is this is a guy that I truly believe has always worn his heart on his sleeve. So when things are going well, you see that pickup in the energy. Obviously, it's natural. When things aren't, his body language isn't going to be great because he knows he wants to produce for the team. So I think that's just one of those things where, we're not seeing the WBC energy. Yeah, he's not off to a great start at the plate this year. So why would he be bat flipping and, cartwheeling and dancing and all that stuff right away? So we'll see what happens with him. But there was, a bunch of conversations I've had with people where it goes, this eerily similar to last season. Hopefully it kind of switches up.
Jake, before I move on to my last topic of something I've wanted to discuss with you since November, and you and I have talked about the whole Manny exchange, a couple months ago after it happened, I will say right now, if you were to ask me for my my team MVP awards, because who wouldn't give MVP awards, after just 2 weeks of the season, I will tell you that right now, it's a co-MVP. I've got Mason Miller, who is insane. Just, wow. I mean, you can't take your eyes off him. 2 more strikeouts. I think he had 11 strikeouts in a row until the ground out. And then Ramon Laureano, who has been clutch offensively, and he is playing some fantastic defense. I know we know how good Jack Samaro and Fernando Tatis Jr. are with the glove, but man, watching Laureano out there play some defense, Laureano has been really impressive. Really has. That's a great defensive outfield.
It really is, and he's been really great. And I think for as much as people want to sit here and harp on AJ Preller over and over, and again, I don't want to sit here and defend the guy, but I just think let's look at both things here. Mason Miller at the trade deadline, Ramon Laureano at the trade deadline, 2 guys that have been wildly impactful. Your early MVPs for this season, right? So let's keep that in mind when people are freaking out about Leodalis DeVries and stuff like that. And who knows what kind of career he'll have. But I'm just saying, don't say he's ruined the farm and he's done all these things and then not give credit to Ramon and to Mason. And if I had to pick a 12-game MVP,
thank you.
Technically, it's only 2 for me, but I'm going with Randy Vasquez, who looks like he's just beyond improved, in a whole different arm out there. He's a guy I've really harped on all offseason. I think is going to be great. But those 3 guys are definitely at the front of, I think, has been the parts of success of the season so far for the Padres.
That's why, by the way, real quick. That's why this is encouraging if you are a Padres fan, because you haven't gotten it really yet going. You haven't gotten your best players going yet, which is Merrill and Machado and Tatis. We are talking about Randy Vasquez. Well, Mason Miller is one of the best players. I mean, he's a star. But we're talking about Randy Vasquez and Ramon Laureano. Like, these are the guys that are, and by the way, and Nick Castellanos, man, that signing looks better and better all the time. All right, last topic, because I know you have to go. You're a busy man, and I haven't even asked you about the City Connects. You've seen them, right? Do you like them?
I have seen what everyone else has seen as far as the quote unquote
leaks. Is that okay?
Yeah, the big day will be Thursday
Tomorrow.
when I think the official announcement comes, and we'll be down there, and I think they open the team store at 8, and we'll all get a look at them. I don't have any great insight to them either. They they don't give me any fun stuff, but from what we've seen from those leaks, if they're any what true, those would be cool. I'm excited. Thursday I'll have it all posted on social media.
I know
and
you
we'll
will
be live on 8 and all that stuff, and so then you can get a true reaction to the City Connects. But I think they're going to be sweet. They look sweet. They look like they may have some of that like 98 dark navy blue and orange vibe to them. Dia de los Muertos. We'll see.
We're bringing the blue back, huh? The blue that the fans couldn't wait to get rid of. But now it's cool if you wear it once a week on a Friday night. All right, last topic. I want to play this clip just so I know Padres fans have seen it. All right, this is the exchange that you had with Manny Machado after they were eliminated at Wrigley Field by the Cubs. Hang on 1 second.
We just lost. How do you think I assess this? How do you think I assess it?
I don't know. That's what I was asking.
You tell me. What's a loss? We lost. How do you assess it? It's a loss. You lost. Come on, dude. I mean, you could ask better questions than that. Let's go. Come on.
Okay, so that was Jake Giriani with asking Manny Machado the most logical question when the season ends, because when you ask them about their season when the season ends, you don't wait until spring training when it would seem ridiculous. But the funny thing about this is we get to spring training. The very first day that Manny has his availability, he looked at you, Jake Giriani, waiting for you to ask him that question. Can you go ahead and just tell our listeners, our viewers, what Manny said to you and just how that exchange went after? I tried to record most of it, but I was kind of caught off guard by how it went. But I thought it was great.
Yeah, I posted it on my social too. We got done. I had actually asked him like 2 or 3 questions. I might have actually let off that scrum talking about, because it was the day Castellanos. It was the first day we got to talk to him since Nick got there. So anyways, he asked Manny a couple questions, and then the scrum's done. And I say, thanks for your time. Like we all do. And we start to break up, and he turns right towards me and goes, hey, got any more? You know, I think, and then I did. I said, I'll ask it to you. How do you assess last year? And he said, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. And I think for those that maybe have been around Manny or know him, and I don't know him on that personal level, you know, like I tried to reiterate, it's very important that I only know this man from a media to, you know, ball player.
Right.
You know, and so I just don't want to act like, oh, you know, him and I chop it up and grab yours, so I know him so well. But I think for my understanding of knowing Manny, it kind of felt like that was his way to be like, rubbing elbows, kind of clear the air a little bit, you know.
Yeah, like we're good,
bring
right?
it up
We're
again.
good, bro?
So yeah. So I don't know. I mean, that's as far as I know about it, though. I technically don't know exactly what he was getting at, but that's what it felt like to me. I don't know. What was your thoughts on it? I've actually never even asked you about it.
No, I thought he was just trying to be like, listen, I was kind of being a dick about how I answered it, but I was emotional about it. So, hey, we're good, right? It's all in the past. We good, bro? That's what I thought it was. It was the kind of like the olive branch, kind of a weird olive branch, but I thought like, hey, we're past it. Like he didn't like refuse to talk to you. I've seen it in the past where it was Carlos Quentin, and then there's a reporter that asked him a question he didn't like, and he refused. He would even talk to us, the rest of us, if that reporter was in that scrum. So it was just like, hey, it's in the past. I get it. That's what it was.
Yeah, and I think I went on your show shortly after that happened in Chicago when we were both out there. And I pretty much said that. I said, like, I fully understand his emotions in that moment. I fully understand his response. I think more people were a lot more offended than I was.
Shocking.
and on both sides. I mean, I got all kinds of hate mail too, being told I was the worst reporter ever, and I should never be able. Oh, tons of it, and that but it is just funny that, like, I think if you could ask Manny or give him truth serum, I think between the two of us, we're like, yeah, that's kind of how that moment went because of the emotions, and we both moved on. But everyone else seemed to have this grand reaction to it. So that's kind of nature of the beast, isn't it?
Here I am 5 months later, bringing it right back up to you. So 6 months later, my goodness. So apparently I haven't let it go. But no, I thought that was a cool exchange that you guys had. So I don't know why. I've been wanting to ask you for a long time. I have had like just complete chaos in my life, and it's taken too long to get this interview. But Jake, you are the best. I'm looking forward to seeing all the pics you put on social. Give people your social for Instagram and the Twitter, if you may.
It's just at Jake Giriani, which can be sometimes hard to spell, but JakeGaregnani. Yeah. And then we actually have our first Padre game on CBS 8, by the way, this Saturday, coming out of the Masters, no less. So it should be a good audience. Wow. We got an hour-long pregame show. Supposed to have some really good stuff in it. We'll have more on the City Connects. Trying to line up a one-on-one with AJ Preller, which would be really good to have in that show. And then we'll obviously get a player interview as well, plus breaking down everything going on that day. So yeah, first game this Saturday coming out of the Masters against the Rockies. Who's your
player target? Let's go.
My player target, it really depends kind of what happens the game before sometimes, really, because, when you're selecting and who's available, but usually I'll throw out a couple names.
Yeah, Vasquez, Buehler. Okay, no, I would say no. Well, no. Go with Michael King's always great.
Michael King is always great coming off that start to end the Pittsburgh series, so I'm sure he would be more than willing and available. One thing, Xander's always great. One thing about Michael that I did want to mention in that series finale against the Pirates, I thought this was a really impressive pitching performance because I don't think it took an expert to see that he had like no command early in this game and really fought through it, pitched really well, still only gave up a couple of hits early in that game, even though he's having a ton of trouble finding the strike zone, and then got better as the game goes on. When you're talking about a guy coming off of like a nerve injury and building back up, all those things, I thought today the series finale against the Pirates was one incredible start for Michael King, just when you consider him fighting through all that and then getting into the seventh inning. So it was impressive by him. I think that's another great sign for Padre fans.
Great point. And I think that slowly, if you're starting to feel better about this rotation. I know that Joe Musgrove, it's going to be a while before we've seen him. You can't be like, hey, it's pencil him in May or June. I believe he does pitch this season, but you cannot, if you're the Padres, you cannot depend on Joe Musgrove coming back to bolster your rotation May and June. You're hoping you get him back a little bit later. Great sign of Michael King. Very good sign of on Nick Pivetta. And of course, the Padres have their ace going in the opener against the Rockies. And that's Randy Vasquez. That's the other piece of the Michael King Juan Soto trade. Yes, the Padres won the trade. Jake, you're the best, man. Thanks for doing this. You know who asks about you all the time? August can spell Jake Giriani. August can spell Jake Giriani. Trust me, he asks about you all the time. You have a big fan in him.
Well, August is my absolute favorite, and I'm sending love his way all the time. And did you ever show him the song August by Flip Turn? I think of him every time. There's a band called Flip Turn. They have a song called August, and I play it all the time, and I think of August nonstop when it plays. So tell him and you, and I think it's appropriate. Maybe give it a listen. I'm 99% sure it's appropriate. Give it a listen. Flip Turn, song August. And the lyric is like, August, honey, you are mine. I think of him every time. Wow. Give him my love.
I'll tell him that he's really into lately, and not because of me. I swear to you, he's really into Michael Jackson and Snoop. So he can moonwalk. This kid taught himself to moonwalk. So, anyways, I'm not sure. I
didn't think I could love him more, but now he's really on the top of my list. If he taught himself how to moonwalk, that's man. That's a man after my own heart right there.
All right, Jake, you're the absolute best. Thanks for your time. I'll see you at Petco Park. Don't forget, when you get there tomorrow, to make sure you ask Craig Stammen in that scrum, who is your MVP after the first 12 games of the season? Because those are the hard-hitting questions.
I gotta know. Yeah, I'm on it. All right, Marty. Much love as always. Really appreciate you having me, and take care. We'll see you soon.
Peace out, Jake. See ya.
Bye.
All right, that's the one and only Jake Giriani of CBS. Ran a little bit late today, but really good stuff, including Darren Smith, Jake Giriani. All right, guys, thank you so much for your time. I am Marty Caswell. We are brought to you by the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. Darren and I will be back tomorrow, I'm sure, with immediate reaction to the City Connects. When the first ones came out, everyone hated them, then they loved them. So I expect a similar sort of reaction tomorrow. All right, Padres have Randy Vasquez on the mound. We will talk to you soon. Have a wonderful day. Thanks again to Jamul Casino Resort, the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. We will talk to you soon. Bye. You a big Corn fan?
Corn?
Corn.
No, not really.
You missed it.
That was your rehearsal.
No, you missed it. One media session. You get 2 words then. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. What'd you fix? Wow. That's one of your.
How well have you fit into this team, and how comfortable are you with this group of guys?
How comfortable am I? I'm pretty comfortable. How well I fit in, I feel like that's a question for everybody else.